What's up, y'all? It's your girl, J. Renee, and this is Plus News, okay? Activism across the globe. All right, we definitely got a global show tonight. We're going to be talking about some things, not only here in America, but also abroad, okay? We're going to be talking about some things that's going on specifically in Nigeria. If this is your first time here, hello, welcome. This is the Plus News Station, all right? And this is activism across the globe, activism across the nation. I use those names interchangeably, but it's the same show. We are brought to you by Plus Productions, and we are a part of the National Plus Coalition. All right. Thank you for making it here. Please make sure that you add me, all right, the J Renee. You can add me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And also add Plus at the National Plus Coalition. All right. For those of y'all that have been here before, hello, welcome back. I'm glad that you made it back so we can talk about some more things that's going on in the activism world. That us activists, those in social justice, and those that are concerned about what's going on, it's a place that we can plug in and find out what's going on. All right. For those of y'all that are new, that's exactly what this is. It's not only news about what's going on in the activism and social justice world, but it's kind of geared towards those that's already in social justice or already activists or advocates, okay? So it's kind of like news for the activist advocate. But, of course, we invite anyone to come and watch. Please make sure that you share this on any platform that you feel comfortable. So let's get right into it. Please forgive this light behind me. As you can see, those of y'all that know the regular show, that I am not in my place where I'm usually at. I'm somewhere else. Sometimes we got to improvise, but the show must still go on. This is a pre-recorded show. So any questions that you may ask down in the chat, please forgive us if we don't get back to you because this is pre-recorded. We will get back to you, however, if you have any inquiries. If you have any inquiries that are direct and need assistance right now, please reach directly out to the National Plus Coalition, all right? You can reach us at this number below, 888-806-6748, all right? And somebody will get back to you. So let's go right into who to add, okay? You know we got a few people to add. I'm running my own boards right now, so you're going to see me look over, but that's all right. Guess what? Because we're going to still get the information out there to you. So who to add? Let's start where I always start, all right? That's State versus Us, the voice of the voiceless, all right? You can add them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can see the handles right there, State VSUS, that is State VSUS, all right? They highlight high-profile cases. They talk about the wrongfully convicted. They talk about the corruption in the police system and the police departments. However, that's not it, all right? They also talk about the success stories of the formerly incarcerated, and they talking about those that's behind the G-wall and that's doing their thing. I definitely suggest that y'all link up with them. You can check out their magazines, okay? Full of awesome information. You definitely want to link in. If you know somebody who needs assistance, or if you are that somebody, please make sure that you reach out via email at stateversususmag@gmail.com. That's stateversususmag@gmail.com. You can get your copy of their magazine at stateversususmag.com. That's stateversususmag.com. Check it out, all right? Next to add, we got the Bayview, all right? The Bayview National Black Newspaper. She has a show that she does on Instagram that starts at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Want to make sure I say that right. Monday through Friday. The show lasts about an hour. Sometimes it goes to about an hour and a half. You definitely want to link in with them if you are in social justice or if you're an activist, all right? They're talking about the things that's going on in different states, the things that are going on with prisoners, going on in prisons. It talks about wrongful convictions. It talks about what's going on the ground and the things that people are involved in. So I definitely suggest that you add the San Francisco Bayview. You can add them on Instagram under SF. That's S as in Sierra, F as in Frank, Bayview on Instagram. All right, SF Bayview on Instagram. All right, someone else to add is Society First. All right, you can add them on Instagram under Society Concerns #2. All right, Society Concerns 2. But you can also go to the website. All right, that's society-first. We're going to spell that out. .com, society-first. Make sure you're spelling out first.com. They are stationed out of Florida, but they are doing amazing things. Not only are they keeping up with the things that are going on there, they are also spearheading the fight against those that are have life in prison without the possibility of parole. It was brought to my attention with one of the good brothers that I got to speak with that the state of Florida has been breaking the Constitution for the last 135 years. Of course, we don't hear much about this, and unless you live in Florida or are directly impacted, you might not know what's going on. So definitely check out Society-First. Make sure you're spelling out first.com, or you can add them under Society Concerns 2. That's the number 2, all right, on Instagram. Another dope brother that I got to interview, all right, he started this, Thoughts Beyond the Wall, all right, Thoughts Beyond the Wall. You can check out the interview I did with him on my YouTube under the Prison Riot Radio flag. Dope information, all right. He pretty much started a podcast from behind the G-Wall. All right. And he's doing wonderful things with it. And we definitely encourage him. I encourage you to look him up. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram. All right. Thoughts Beyond the Wall. You definitely want to check them out and check out that interview under my YouTube. Someone else the Philly Justice Project. Woo! Philly Justice Project. All right. This is geared towards women and girls. We know that a lot of men are incarcerated, more men than women. However, women are still incarcerated. And the things that are going on with them, we still need to make sure that we're talking about. This is one of those platforms that is doing that. So if you are into the women's justice part of this and want to spearhead things that's going on with women and girls, or if you're in Philadelphia and you're looking for an organization or someone that you can follow, you definitely want to follow this nonprofit organization. I'm going to be talking about a young lady that they brought to my attention, something that happened in Philadelphia a little bit later. And we also want to add Prison Riot Radio, okay? This is my baby right here. And this is a place where the voiceless have a place to have their voices. They can showcase their music, their talents, their artistry, their writings, their poetry, all of those things. But they also have a place where they can talk about wrongful convictions. They can talk about being over sentenced. They can talk about inhumane prisons, or they can talk about corrupt prison systems. We are uncensored and we put it all out there. All right. This is from the people for the people. So you definitely can reach out. You can send an email to prisonriotradio@gmail.com. That's prisonriotradio@gmail.com. And someone will get back to you. Okay. If you have a story, if someone that you love has something that they want to put out there, please make sure that you do. All right. So let's get into some good news. All right. We have some good things that be happening out here. All right. So Sundiata is coming home. All right. This man has been locked up for 49 years. Okay. A New Jersey Supreme Court correctly upheld the law today, granting the release of 85-year-old Sundiata Acoli. I hope I'm saying his name right. After serving more than 49 years in prison. Almost 50 years, half a century in prison. The court ruled that the parole board unlawfully denied Mr. Acoli's petition for release by claiming that he was a risk to public safety and noted that he had shown no substantial risk of recidivism or a risk to public safety. So he finally got to make it home. That's a long time, 85 years old. I'm glad that he gets to come out here to any family that he does still have alive. Anyone, you got to remember, when people get incarcerated this long, there is a chance for them to come home and all their loved ones are no longer living. Okay. Absolutely outrageous. I'm so glad that he does get to go home, that he does get to spend some time for the rest of his life on this side of the G-Wall. So that is definitely something that happened good, okay? Let me see. What else happened? Oh, all right. So our brother Kwame Beans Shakur, all right, is working on his documentary. Everything is going well with that. It's looking like that will be able to come out this year. If you're not familiar with Kwame Beans Shakur, he is a political prisoner up at Wabash Correctional Institute, or correctional facility up in Indiana. All right. He also has an event that's coming up that I'm going to talk about later. But yeah, his documentary is going well. And that just goes to show that having support from the outside can really aid in these brothers and sisters doing great things. Okay. So those of y'all that are involved in prison reform or involved in advocates for those that are incarcerated, you're definitely thanked. Okay. Got another brother. All right. My boo also, Kwame Dutch. Teague, okay, he has a movie that will be coming out soon, is by the name of Sin. If you are not familiar with him, he is the brother that pretty much pioneered making books from behind the G wall. Okay, he was one of the first urban literature writers from behind the G wall that showed that you can be successful and absolutely successful. Just last year, his movie Dutch, the movie Dutch that he wrote, was turned into a movie and put on BET. Okay. This movie is called Sin. It's something that he wrote, and him and his people put together, those that he has served with before and some of those that he met out here, and it's coming into fruition. All right. You're going to be able to see it this year. It's looking like, and I can't wait to drop the trailer because this is going to be a good one. It is a psychological thriller, and it's made by us. So you definitely want to check that out. And that just goes to show that these brothers, I just named two, but these brothers are definitely doing great things behind the G wall, and women as well. I can't wait until I have more things to talk about when it comes to women, right? But it also goes to show that our support is very, very important. The fact that these brothers and sisters have us on the outside that can assist them and help them do things and help them make connections and make those phone calls is very important. So if you're an advocate for those that are incarcerated, I ask you to please keep it up. Okay, we have to continue to try to give them support so they can make their dreams come true and also be productive parts of society, feed their families, and make the world a better place. So congratulations to all of them, most definitely. Now we're going to go to Africa. Now, I want you to know that the things that I'm going to be discussing are very graphic. So listener discretion is advised, and viewer discretion is advised if you are watching. Okay. If you haven't added us yet, please make sure that you add us. If you just got here, welcome. Okay. This is Activism across the globe, Activism across the nation, brought to you by Plus News. And I'm your host, Jay Renee. Please make sure that you add us. Make sure you add Plus Productions. That's the platform that you're hearing and seeing me on right now. But you also want to add the National Plus Coalition, as well as adding me. All right. You want to make sure that you add us so that you will be here to see my show again, to see the other awesome shows that we have going on, and to be a part of anything else that we have going on. We be having seminars. We be having like blocks of instructions. Like they be really dope and really full of information. So I suggest that you add us just for those purposes. So again, please let me say viewer discretion is advised. Listeners' discretion is advised. Let me take a deep breath. Because I'm moving fast, right? I take a deep breath. Settle down a little bit. Sometimes we got to take a deep breath. That's all right. Take you a breath. Sometimes you might need two. Just settle down a little bit and regroup and refocus. All right. See how much calmer I am now? Now, I want to get into this. It's something that's going on in Nigeria, in Africa, okay? And I have a brother there that lets me know what's going on there. I haven't heard anything about this in the news. I haven't seen any of this on my timeline. So this is coming straight from Nigeria, from the source of what's going on. All right. This beautiful woman right here, her name was Deborah Samuels. She was a student in Nigeria. From what it sounds like, she was at the top of her class. And even if she wasn't, this was her. Okay. Now let me explain to y'all what happened to her. So she was killed in the northern part of Nigeria, Sokoto to be precise, And I'm going to read to you exactly what happened with her, okay? She was speaking of the Prophet Muhammad. And this is a tribe that is said to have been the reason that Nigeria is never at peace. And she spoke on this on a public forum on WhatsApp to her classmates, right? After that, she was beaten. After that, excuse me, she was hunted down. She was beaten. And then after they killed her, they burned her body until she turned to ashes, okay? They're saying that the leaders there are not saying anything about the situation. Rather, they are taking side with the suspected killers since they're Muslims, okay? Miss Samuels was a Christian, and she was allegedly killed by Muslims. I won't be sharing all of the visuals. I can't. I would have wished I'd never seen them. And when it comes to visuals and videos and things, we got to be mindful, because once these things go into your brain, they in there, man. So you want to be mindful what you're placing your eyes on. So I'm not going to put that here, but you can definitely look her up and find more about it. So I'm going to read a statement from the Nigerian brother. This shows of the chaos. Now, Miss Deborah Samuels is not the only victim here. I haven't heard of any other deaths, but there is absolute pandemonium and chaos in the streets of Nigeria right now. So let me read to you. We experience most times in some region, one cannot sleep with two eyes closed. We live in a country where human rights don't exist, where you can't speak out without probably getting killed or having your life threatened. People are being killed by bandits, schools are being burnt down, and school children are being kidnapped daily. But the leaders still do not do anything. Rather, they only care about themselves. Their children are all over the world, in America, Canada, London, and Australia, and many more countries, schooling and living a better life. I feel so sad. This is what this brother is saying. Some people can't even afford a square meal. Inflation is really high. We all, okay, please excuse me if it's a little broken, because English isn't his first language, okay? We have all it takes to be like Dubai. We are one of the largest oil-producing nations in the world, but rather it's been embezzled for their selfish interest. They care less about the people. And the masses, a lot have lost their children and families trying to fight. But what triggers me most is that some of the youth haven't realized themselves and are still fooling around with these politicians. They get pine nuts from them and even fight themselves. So they got it. The situation over there is so outrageous that people are willing to fight for food. To get food, they are willing to fight. That is horrible. Now let me continue to read to you what's going on over there, okay? People and properties are being destroyed, as well as churches are being burnt. Christians are the major targets. So right now, they have the Muslims attacking and targeting the Christians. I don't know if there's any more deaths. Now, this is where you can go on Twitter, all right? The African Voice Television. They are pretty up to beat of what's going on, and they broke the story. Are one of the ones that broke the story on Deborah Samuel. I want to show you her face again. This woman, freedom of speech right here in America is nothing. Freedom of speech, we say whatever we want, right? Cut somebody up one side and down the other. This woman was murdered because of something that she said. So the citizens are pressing for the government to make a law that says that just because something is considered blasphemy, that it's not punishable by death. But they're saying, the citizens are saying that they are ignoring these cries, they're ignoring these pleas, and that they are siding with the Muslims. It's a sad, sad thing that's going on over there, right? If you would like to get involved in some way, I urge for you too. If you would like to get more information, you definitely can get it from me, all right? Just text Africa to 914-655-4993. Text Africa to 914-655-4993, and I will give you more information, not only on Miss Deborah Samuels, but on the situation there. If you are over there and you would like to talk about your experiences, please reach out to us. You can reach out directly to the National Plus Coalition at 888-806-6748. Email address is info@thenationalpluscoalition.com. That's info@the nationalpluscoalition.com. Okay, you can reach out, or you can reach out directly to me at that number I gave you, 914-655-4993, to get involved in that. Absolutely outrageous. Here is that people on Twitter, so you can see that they're called the African Voice Television. Okay, and you can reach out to them directly. We do have a guest that we will be talking to this evening. I'm gonna send her a message right now. She is someone that I had on the show before, that I also interviewed before, about the inhumane conditions down at a juvenile facility in Texas. But it's a lot more deeper than that. If you remember, she talked about there being a sex trafficking ring, and that the military, Killeen, which is, a military base, pretty much, you might as well say, outside of Texas. It's Fort Bliss. Okay. She's going to be coming and speaking with us. Her son had a trial, and I got to speak to at least one of the jurors. It was supposed to be two. One of them, she decided that she didn't want to speak with me, and that's fine. Don't pressure anybody. But what I did hear from that one juror was absolutely outrageous, and I will be dropping the interview for that tomorrow. Okay, so please stay tuned to so you can be here when I speak to the mother. She's going to come talk to us. So let me talk some more about what else is going on. So this is another incident with a woman. All right, so the Philly Justice Project, right? This is where I first heard about this story. And please excuse me, I want to put this in the right order for you. So this is the first one. So this is the story about India Spellman, okay? And I'm going to read for you exactly what the Philly Justice Project had to say about what's going on with her. One second. One second, y'all. Sorry about the silence. Please forgive me. They said silence in radio sounds like ages. I know it does. So those of y'all are listening, it's like, hey, did I lose signal? You ain't lose signal. My brain just was trying to work and get things together so we can be right on time. But I want to read to you exactly what the why do I call them the Philadelphia Justice Project? The Philly Justice Project is saying about this case, okay? So what happened to India Spellman, okay, in the interrogation room of the police roundhouse in Philly was as horrifying as it was illegal. She was bullied, threatened, stripped of her legal rights, and physically coerced into signing a false confession. We are so fortunate to be working with an incredible, talented artist. He's the one that drew these pictures that are giving us a visual perspective of what that interrogation room looked like. Okay. We're going to go through these slides here so you can see. As you can see, she couldn't read well. They offered her no assistance. They threatened her. She didn't deserve this, right? She wanted to go to her father. Can you imagine a child calling out for their dad? Confused by those that are supposed to protect her. Authority. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the fear that she had? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. If you want to get involved with that, I suggest that you add Philly Justice Project on Instagram, or you can also reach out to me, 914-655-4993, and type India. Type India, and I will be sure to make sure that you get more information on this case, okay? Hashtag free India Spellman. That's her last name, India Spellman. All right, so the last time I was here with y'all, we talked about William B. Brock, okay? His son, T.W. Brock, was here, and he led us through the website of the exposure of what he says happened to his father. They said that his father committed suicide. He says, no, my father was murdered, okay? And he believes that Volkswagen has something to do with it because they're the ones that would have benefited the most from him being dead. If you would like to hear more about that show, please go back to my last show and you'll hear the brother talk about it. If you would like to know more at your fingertips, all right, just text that number. You know what I'm gonna say, right? 914-655-4993. Just text Brock, BROCK, and I can send you more information. Or you can go right to the website, and that's justiceforbrock.com. You're going to spell out four. So that's justice, F-O-R, Brock, BROCK.com. And you can get more information on that right there. But yeah, that's what's going on out here in this world. Absolutely crazy. Like I said, we'll have the Florida mother soon. I just want to tell you about an event that's going on. I had a couple other events, but I didn't get to upload them. But we have this one, Road to Restoration. All right. This is down in Florida, May 21st. So if you are available, please make sure that you go. It says, come join the Road to Restoration Coalition on Saturday, May 21st, outside of Sumter Correctional Institution. All right. 9544C 4768, Bushnell, Florida, 33513. It starts at 3 p.m. Okay, they're trying to bring an end to mass incarceration. So if you're down in Florida and you're interested, all right, the Restoration Coalition is having something on Saturday, May 21st, outside of Sumter Correctional Institution. All right, and that starts at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a lot of vendors, or not a lot of vendors. It's going to be a lot of support out there. So you're definitely invited if you would like to go. So I'm about to call this mother now that's down here in Florida. I'm going to let her give y'all, a brief introduction on the things that's going on with her son. And then we're going to talk about his trial. So let me give her a call. Let's give her a call. If you haven't added us, please make sure that you do, okay? So that you can keep up with us and all the things we have going on.
Thanks, Freddie. How are you?
I'm fine. How you doing?
I'm all right. One minute at a time.
Yeah, most definitely. I was just reminding our listeners and viewers that you did have an opportunity to come on our show once before and talk about some of the things that were going on with your son on that side of it. But there has been some things that have happened since then. So please, just give a brief summary of who your son is and what's going on with him, and then we'll go into what happened at his trial that just passed.
Okay. My son is Jordan Hampton. He was years capital murder in Killeen, Texas, which is known as County. He has been in the youth detention center for almost 2 years. This June 23rd will be exactly 2 years that he's been in the detention center. He has endured abuse. He has endured being on a pod completely by himself. He doesn't get schooling. I mean, they bring him a packet of papers and tell him to do them, and that's his schooling. So he's been completely isolated other than guards. They've withheld his mail for months at a time. They've withheld visitation for a month and a half, 2 different times. They withheld phone calls for a long time. Lately, he has been getting his phone calls. He has been getting his visits since I was on the news about it, especially. So
Right.
we do have a federal lawsuit filed against the facility. Nothing's been done with it yet. So we're waiting for somebody to do something with it, but right now it's just stuck somewhere,
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, when you were telling me how that facility was treating him, and not just him, just the other juveniles there, I was completely disgusted, as well as a lot of people. I hope that everyone knows that that hasn't stopped yet. So we have to remember that we need to stay diligent on that facility and the things that are going on there. But
Absolutely.
we are definitely on to something else that's what's going on. I gave everyone a brief introduction into the fact that your son did have a trial that just happened and that it was a hung jury. And I got to speak to one of the jurors, and I was absolutely blown away with the things that she had to say. We'll definitely tap into that in a moment, but please let everybody know what you've seen firsthand happening in that courtroom.
So the issue that I have is my son was 15. All of the other people were older than him. He was the youngest person. A girl that sexually assaulted him and I believe was trafficking him to other women got on the stand against him, admitted to having sex with him in open court, still has not been charged. Not only that, the Chelsea girl, she was 16 when this took place. She got on the stand and they had to stop the trial and get her a lawyer because she was incriminating herself. Not only was she incriminating herself, they offered her full immunity, and she testified against my son. Every person that testified in my son's trial was by the jurors not credible because they caught them in lies or other testimony contradicted what the first person said.
Right.
The only one that was considered credible was the neighbor, which he admitted to being high as well as all of the other people. He admitted to being high and getting woken up out of his sleep, but could not identify my son, Jordan Hampton. The detective on the case, he testified to what he thought happened, and then the coroner got on the stand and contradicted what the detective said happened. So I am frustrated. I don't understand how you, one, can charge a boy at 15 and try to take the rest of his life when you don't have the proof that he even did anything. Right. They even committed any crime.
Right. I know that you was telling me that there's no physical evidence.
None.
Against your son.
None. The DNA that they found at the scene did not match my son. Now, the other two males that by their own testimony were at the scene, by the police's testimony, and the King guy actually got on the stand and admitted to being there, but the DNA was never tried to even be matched to him. Why was it not tested against him? Why was it not tested against this lucky guy?
Right. Right. So I know you also said that there was a video of the alleged perpetrator running, and you said you could tell immediately that wasn't your son based on what?
Right. My son has always run on his tippy toes. Some people, I've had him to the doctor, and the doctor said the same thing. He just prefers to run that way. Right. The person in that video is running flat-footed. And you can ask anybody that knows my son, and everybody will tell you the same thing. He runs on his tippy toes.
Right. Something so small is so big, he wouldn't just all of a sudden just start running flat-footed. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. Right.
So let's talk about the jury. it's supposed to be a jury of your peers, right? And your son is biracial, but
Yes.
there was how many black people on this panel? And do you feel like it was a jury of his peers?
No, I don't feel like it was a jury of his peers. One, everybody knows that mixed kids are not accepted by the white in them. They're automatically assumed by the white people to be black, because they're not pure white. So everybody that sees him says, no, he's black.
Right. And what did they tell your lawyer, or what did they say, period, when it came to the way the jury box was stacked up? Did they have anything to say?
Nobody had anything to say other than they selected jurors. Everybody polled them. The one thing that bothered me, well, there's many that bothers me, but one, his prosecutor, the one that certified him as an adult, showed up to be a juror on his trial. How is that even possible?
How is that even legal? What?
Right. How can you be selected to be a juror when you prosecute in that same county?
Wow.
I don't get that.
I don't get that either. That's I don't even know what to say.
Luckily, Jordan caught it and said, hey, how is he going to be one of my jurors when he's the one that certified me as an adult?
Wow. It sounded like they were trying to pull a fast one there.
Exactly.
So
Second,
yeah, go ahead.
You have two retired police officers on the jury. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. I'm just being honest. Everybody knows everybody in uniform takes up for each other. They're not going to admit that the detective was wrong. They're not going to admit that the police department was wrong in their investigation. They help each other all the time. We see that over and over and over, where they cover each other's back.
And the person that was killed was a soldier, correct?
Yes. So his jury was made up of 2 retired police officers and 3 military personnel.
They were active military, or they was prior service?
Prior service.
Okay.
Still, how do you know that they didn't know this man?
Right.
Is that not impartial? If they knew him at all, or the fact that he was a soldier, to me, would be a biased jury. That's the issue that I have.
Yeah, I can
Jordan
understand why you feel
deserves a fair trial.
Right. It ended up being a hung jury, and I got to talk to one of the jurors. I had lined up 2 of them. One of them I've lost contact with. I'm hoping that she does decide to reach back out. But the one juror that I did speak with said that they were pretty much bullied, or they attempted to bully them into making a decision of guilty. And the main thing that they were saying is, one, there wasn't enough evidence, and you would have to imagine and fabricate in your mind pieces of it to come up with a guilty verdict. She said at one moment it felt like that it was going to come to blows and physical violence, that they were intimidated, and the person used not only an elevated voice, but also changed their posture to intimidate them into changing their answer. Absolutely ridiculous. So tell the listeners and viewers the other things that you might have on your mind.
So I've had 4 jurors reach out to me. I didn't know none of the jurors. I didn't know their names. They've all came to me. Every one of them that came to me has stated the same thing, that 1, they were coerced into changing and they wish they'd have never changed to the guilty side. 2, that they do not feel my son done this. And 3, that mere presence does not make him guilty. Right. The color of skin does not make him guilty. If you look at just the evidence, there's nothing. They said they ruled out all the testimony because nobody was deemed credible in this trial. Right. You could tell that everybody was lying. Everybody was covering their own self. And every single one of them said the same thing, that Jordan is the perfect passing in this case.
Is that he's a perfect what?
Patsy, I think is what they
Patsy.
called it.
Okay.
Yep.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Like the fall guy. Like that's the perfect fall guy.
Absolutely. Hold on just a second. Well, we're live, right?
It's pre-recorded, but yeah, kinda. If you need a moment, go ahead and take a moment.
One of the jurors is calling me. It's why I'm
okay.
Reaching out. I mean, like trying to answer.
Yeah, I understand. Go ahead.
So, hold on just one second.
All right.
Well, she already hung up. I'll call her back when we're done.
Okay. You sure you don't need to call her now? You can call her now if you need to. That might be important. Just give me a call back. I'll be on for a little moment longer. Go ahead and square that away.
No, that's okay. I'm going to call her from a different number.
Okay.
Just want her to know that I'm not.
Yeah, most definitely.
But my issue with this whole entire thing is one, it's you having to piece together anything.
Mm-hmm.
The state did not do their job. The burden of proof is on them.
Right.
It's their job to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that my son is guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So, with no physical evidence, with testimony that has been contradicted, testimony that has been Breeze got a lighter sentence to testify against my son.
Wow.
Which is the 24-year-old.
Right.
Chelsea got immunity for her own criminal activity to testify against my son. King got the eyes off of him to testify against my son when he failed a lie detector test already, and he was not asked any question about my son. He was asked 3 questions when he failed the lie detector test. The Ralph guy, he was mad because of the text messages saying that the 24-year-old was having sex with my son raw. So he was paying for sex by this 24-year-old and was in love with her. Head over heels in love with her. He admitted to being her sugar daddy at one point on the stand. He lied and said he had never paid her for sex and that he never had sex with her. She got up there and said, we had sex numerous times and he paid for it.
That sounds like a mess, man.
So, what I don't get, you've had my son for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
2 years. For something he did not do. So, I don't get it.
So now that they've had this hung jury, what is the next steps for you and your son? What's
now we go to trial again. We have to go through the whole thing all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do we have to go through the whole thing all over again, my son turns 17 next month. June 2nd is his birthday. Turns 17. He's going to get put in the county jail where the girl that sexually assaulted him is going to be, and where the lucky guy that hit a girl one time and broke her eye socket, broke her nose in 2 places, broke her the bone above your teeth, chipped 2 of her teeth.
Damn.
So now he's going to be in there with that man. That's not safe, my son.
No, it's definitely not safe. So let the listeners and viewers know how can we support you? Is there any way that we can support you and your son?
One, we need to bring awareness to this case. There needs to be eyes on this case. We need to share it on as much social media, the news, whoever will reach out and do something about it. 1. 2, there needs to be an investigation of Fort Hood altogether. The police department, the military. Look up all of the cases where soldiers have been involved or busted in sex things, in human trafficking, all of that stuff. We need to bring awareness to that and look at what is done by the police department to stop it. Nothing's done. Look at all the unsolved murders in Killeen. Look at all the soldiers that actually tried to step up and ended up dead. or missing. We got one right now that's missing. He's been missing for 5 days.
Wow.
And he reported the sexual assault of another military lady. And she was actually medically discharged from the military. There's so much going on here.
Wow.
And until somebody steps in and says enough is enough, it's going to keep going on.
Right.
We have to look at, one, what is human trafficking? When does it change from sexual assault to human trafficking? What are the guidelines for that?
Right.
2, we have to learn to identify the behavior of traffickers. Yeah. My daughter was trafficked by this Breeze girl. My son was trafficked by this Breeze girl. The Chelsea girl got on the stand and admitted keeping books for this 24-year-old. That is trafficking.
Yeah.
She set up dates. She went and made website posts. She admitted it on the stand. Everything that I've been saying for the last 2 years was talked about on the stand.
Wow.
I went to Killeen Police Department. Nothing was ever done. They haven't even tried to identify the other girls that was on this 24-year-old's
list.
Instagram.
Right. Wow.
I mean, look at it. The girls are in their panties and shirts. She's teaching them how to pose.
Wow. Wow.
And until we learn to identify traffickers and their behaviors and how do they get these kids? Where do they meet them at? Where do they find them at?
Right. Wow.
Until we learn to identify all that, we can't stop human trafficking. We can't bring down who's involved in it. The court-appointed attorneys need to be educated on what is a true victim.
Right. Most definitely. Dang, mother. You are definitely going through it down there to have your children violated in such a way, and then for the system to try to bury them and the truth that they know is a lot.
It is.
I definitely encourage everyone that's listening and is watching to get involved in this case, to keep eyes on it, to share this broadcast, to check out my YouTube where I've got to interview this lovely mother about what's going on. And I also got to interview one of the jurors. I will be dropping that tomorrow morning. Okay. So y'all can get more insight, and hopefully we can reach out to some more of the jurors and they'll tell us about what they experienced. So far, this juror told me that she don't believe that he's guilty, and she knows that others believe the same, but they were bullied into changing their mind. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We got to keep eyes on this one. I appreciate you so much for taking the time to come and speak with us about what's going on with your son and what's going on down there. It takes a lot of courage to speak up against so many things, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The one thing I want to say, and I've said this from day one, if you are not a part of bringing awareness to it, then you're a part of letting it go. Mm-hmm. You can't, either you fight against it or they win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the reality. So it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot more that it has happened to.
You're right.
How many Jordans have been through Killeen? How many people have they put away for life sentences for something they didn't do?
Right. Countless. We may never know the real number, you know. Again, absolutely. I appreciate you for being here. I definitely support you. We're going to push this, and I'm trying to get as many people's eyes and ears on this as possible. And you keep your head up and keep being a good mama.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll speak with you again soon, okay?
All right. Have a blessed day.
All right, you too. Crazy. They're not only violating us as adults, they're also violating our children. There's something going on down there in Killeen. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. If you are down in Texas, Get involved in this. If you're not in Texas, if you are wherever you are, if you want to get involved and give support to this mother, help to share this, please share this live. If you would like to find the interviews, if you can't find them readily, definitely reach out to me, 914-655-4993, and text Texas, and I will give you all the information on that facility, on the children that are involved, and on the interviews that I've already done, so you can get more insight about what this is and see if you want to get involved. Again, you're going to text Texas to 914-655-4993. We want to send some love out to that mother, out to all the mothers that are fighting the fight for their sons, man. I've met so many strong, phenomenal mothers that are holding down their sons, trying to get their sons justice, not stopping until they get it. Shout out to the moms, man. They have it hard. They're carrying that baby for 9 months just to have the system treat them any old type of way. It's got to be a devastating feeling. Got to be devastating. It's got to feel like death, you know. Make sure that you share this live. Make sure that you add us, though. You got to make sure that you add us so that you can keep up with us, all right? You want to add Plus Productions. That's the platform that you're seeing and hearing me on, all right? You also want to add the National Plus Coalition. That'll keep you into the loop with the things that are going on across the nation when it comes to advocacy, activism, and social justice, okay? And, of course, you want to add me, the J Renee. That's TheJayrene. That's TheJayrene, the J Renee. All right. And you can add me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I hope that y'all have a great weekend. I hope that your weekend was great, I'd rather say, because this is Sunday. You're watching this on Sunday. I hope that your week is productive and is filled with great things. Continue up the good fight. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Remember, you got to take care of you too. Can't keep running, and think that you're not going to run out. It don't work like that. We don't have that privilege. We're not machines. We're not machines. We're wonderfully made, but we are not robots, okay? We got to take care of ourselves. We got to make sure we're putting good things into our body, our minds, and our spirits. Pace yourself and place yourself, okay? Remember my advice. We want to use allegedly when we're talking about things that's going on with our people. It's been reported. We don't want to, and I ask myself, like, where did that come from? Is that something that we just get used to because of the news or what? Like, I remember when I reported last week about the 9-year-old that they allegedly said, or 8-year-old they allegedly said stole some potato chips. I was saying it like he did, like, yeah, he stole these chips, you know. Regardless if he did or not, he didn't deserve what happened to him. But I say that to say we have to be mindful of how we're bringing things forward, allegedly, because who says he even did that? You know what I mean? Allegedly. It's been reported. Sources say, things like that. We don't want to say things are facts if we don't know that they're facts. We got to be mindful of how we're saying things. And we never, ever, ever, ever want to incriminate the people. Never want to incriminate the people. So we just want to be mindful of how we're speaking, okay? Have a great that's coming up. Please make sure that you reach out to the National Plus Coalition. If you got something going on, if you need exposure to a case, if you're looking for help to get some boots on ground, if you don't know where to start when it comes to doing petitions, if you need phone zaps done, reach out to the National Plus Coalition. That's what we do. That is what we do. We do more than, just productions and shows and things like that. We actually are here for the people. We help the people. All we got to do is know what's going on. So if you got something going on and you want to get help from the National Plus Coalition, please reach out, 888-806-6748, or you can email info@thenationalpluscoalition.com. That's info@thenationalpluscoalition.com. It's your girl, J Renee. I'm going to go ahead and end this. Okay. I got to do some traveling tomorrow, so I'm going to go ahead and get my rest. Okay. That's that pacing I'm talking about. You got to pace yourself. Got to take care of your engine. Have a great week. Have a great week. Do great things. I can't talk today. Hopefully Next Sunday I talk a little bit better, man. It's been a week. Life comes at us fast, right? So we want to make sure that we slow down, but we keep our pace. So y'all be awesome. It's been, and I'll see you next Sunday, God willing. Y'all be easy. Oh, and do not let me forget, we will be on Roku soon. Roku Television. Okay, you'll be able to find Plus Coalition Plus Productions. So make sure that you check us out there. It's been awesome. Y'all have a good night. Peace.